Hey YouTube, what's going on, and welcome back to Chironis Things. Today we're going to be checking out a pistol light. This is the Trustfire GM23. I do have quite a bit of Trustfire products as far as their standard flashlights, so this is going to be my first time trying out one of their weapon lights. So let's get to the unboxing.
Whoops.
First, let's start off with the dimensions on this. I'll go ahead and throw those up on the side of the screen. And while we're taking a look at that, let's look at a size comparison here. To compare it with another similar style pistol light here, we have the Nightstick TCM10. So here you'll see it's quite a bit shorter. Okay. And then on our length, you'll see it's shorter this way as well. And even the head doesn't stick out nearly as far. It's pretty much smaller in just about every regard here, from what I can tell. It's a pretty small weapon light, which is nice. It's interesting. You know, you don't always want something a little bit bigger or heavier. So let's go ahead and take a look at the design of this. And this is what really makes this interesting. Well, first of all, we do have some cutout serrations here to make it a little bit easier to grab if need be. And then back here, of course, we do have our paddles to be able to trigger the light. One thing that's really great about this is that you can trigger the light from either side, or if you hit both sides, it still triggers it. And to kind of show you an example here, I really like this nightstick, but one thing that's kind of a downfall is that you can hit it from either side, but if you hit it from both sides at the same time, if I can do it right, here we go. Both times, it does nothing. If you hit these at the same time, it still turns on. It doesn't matter. As long as you're hitting one of those buttons, you can turn it on. And you do have momentary if you hold, and then you let go, or you can just click to leave the light on if you so desire. And as you saw, it gets super bright at 800 lumens. This thing is packed with a pretty high intensity beam here. I was pretty surprised because when I got this at the size of this, I wasn't sure just how capable it would be, but very bright there. And then of course we do have a pretty nice color here. This is like their brown color, but it also comes in, I believe, a gray, and then of course black. So I really like this though, having something, I want to say they almost list this as gold or something, but it's just more, I would consider this like coyote brown, I think is what it would normally be called. Anyways though, let's get to what really makes this sweet here. So you'll see this little flap that we've got going on. So this is how you actually install this. Now let me pull that nightstick out again real quick. This is what I'm used to, where you press in a little thumb screw, and then you can change the plate if need be. You slide it onto your Picatinny rail, and then let go, and then you tighten that with a coin. With this, when you pull open that lever, it releases this, and now you just need to mount it on your rail, and depending on how wide that is, you just close that and it will tighten on it. All right. Additionally, let me show you real quick, we do have USB-C recharging. Don't want to forget that. USB B recharging. It does look like it's micro recharging. That's a little bit outdated, but still USB recharging is nice to have on one of these. Now, anyways, let's go ahead and actually grab a firearm here, and then we'll mount that real quick just to show you. All right, so here I've got my Ruger SR22 empty. And so all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pull that lever so that it's nice and wide. All right, now that I've got it where I want it, all the way back up against the trigger guard here, I'm just gonna pull that lever, and I felt that tighten way far down to where it is nice and secure. I'm really pulling on that right now, and it's not going anywhere. And I can tell you I've already shot with it, and it does stay nice and secure. So you'll see how good that looks there on the SR22. Man, this thing really actually blew me away. And that's how I've honestly felt with every Trustfire product I've gotten so far, is I keep getting them, and I'm like, okay, when are you going to have a dud? When are you going to have a bad product? And so far, none of them have been for me. And I never really used Trustfire before because back in the day, many years ago, they were kind of known as not a great brand. And then they kind of redid themselves over the past few years and really put out some absolute heaters. So you just pull that lever to pull it right off there. And here we're back with just the light. You'll see everything looks good. And this has already been shot with and everything. Everything looks great on it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some beam shots with this, and then we'll come back and talk final thoughts. Final thoughts on the Trustfire GM23. I am thoroughly impressed. I genuinely am. Like, I'm not just saying that to push sales or anything like that. There's plenty of products you can go with, but I think that this one just kind of blew me away, especially because, I'm not going to lie, this little bit boxy design here wasn't overly attractive to me from the pictures. And then the price being as low as it is kind of had me a little bit concerned that I was going to get it and end up finding out that it would feel cheap, but it does not at all. It feels really good in hand. I've got Streamlight, I've got Nightstick, I've got O-Light, I've got Brynite. I've got a lot of different brands of weapon lights, and this one is actually really impressive. The only thing I could see maybe having an issue with on this one is I don't know how compatible it will be with different holsters. I have not looked that up. Hopefully, it's similar enough to some common flashlight out there where you can find holsters that are compatible. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to look that up. The GM23-2022. See if there's holsters compatible if you're interested in whatever weapon you carry. But I will say paddles feel great on it. Super easy to click. Love that you can click it from both sides or one or the other. Absolutely love the way that you just flip this lever and then it just tightens right up. It stays nice and secure. Doesn't get any movement at all while shooting. I mean, really, it just feels great. USB recharging. I'm very happy with this. And mainly because the price, I want to say on the Trustfire website, it's around $60, and on Amazon, I want to say like 40 or 45. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but I know I'm close there. I'll link both in my description to the Amazon and to the Trustfire Direct. But either way, very impressed for the price. And you would think for that price, maybe it doesn't hold up when it's actually on the firearm shooting. Nope, it looks great. It held up well. So very happy with this. If you can find a holster that works for this, or maybe you're looking for a weapon light for a firearm that you don't keep in a holster, maybe you keep it, in your nightstand or whatever for home defense, something like that, or it's just an extra pistol you have in the house. I don't know, but if you're looking for something that you can throw on there inexpensive that actually is quality and will hold up, check out this Trustfire GM23. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.